All right.
Hey, hey.
Okay.
All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Just Throwing It Out There, the podcast. I am Danny, and I am here today with my co hosts. As usual, we have Talia,
Hey, y'all.
Sharice,
What's up?
and Melly.
Hey. I'm gonna keep doing that. Hey.
All right. We want to just start off by thanking you guys for tuning in. Remind you that new episodes drop every Wednesday. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. All right. We have merch and other fun announcements coming soon. And remember to do those four things for us. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share. So, how's everybody feeling today, guys? How are we?
Good.
We're ready. Just saw this.
Leah got a little shoulder shimmy going.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
With a body roll mixed in.
just
Little
relax
bit.
my shoulders because
I think we should start a drinking game for our audience. How many times can I slap my thigh? in today's episode? I feel like
it's a lot.
it's gonna be a lot because this week we're focusing on a great movie that was just premiered on Hulu. It's called The United States versus Billie Holiday, and it's going to be part of our celebration of Women's History Month. So I'm super excited. So the movie is based on Johann Hari's Chasing the Dream, the first and the last of the war on drugs, the first and the last days of the war on drugs. And there, literally, a chapter is dedicated to Billie Holiday's struggles with the FBI, and as we know his name to be Anslinger. And we do more research and going into depth. It was almost like the same obsessiveness as J. Edgar Hoover had with the civil rights movement. We could also say that Billie Holiday was the mother of the civil rights movement. So all of these things are inextricably linked. She was targeted by federal agents. It's directed by Lee Daniels. What was the movie that Lee Daniels directed with Gabby
Butler.
Sidibe,
Oh,
the Butler?
The Butler. What else?
Precious.
Precious.
Oh.
He was like,
Precious. I love Gabby Sidibe. The screenplay is written by Susan Laurie Parks, and the movie stars Andra Day as the iconic jazz singer Billie Holiday. And do y'all want to just start off about Andra Day?
Let's talk about her.
Because that's a really happy part of this movie. Like the happiness comes from she like killed it.
Yeah. And I love just her. Like, I could listen to her speak and sing like the whole time. Like, if it was like a film, you know how they had like the silent films. Like, if it was just a listen film. Like,
Absolutely.
I love her voice, but she did such a great job with that role.
Oh my God. She
Yeah.
even got the raspies in her speaking
Great.
voice because I've seen her. So as soon as I watched the movie, I started watching YouTube clips of her apart from this role. And she doesn't speak. She's from San Diego, from California.
I sound like that in real life.
So her like this was a transformation. This is one of those roles that come, I guess, once in a lifetime for people, and like she absolutely killed it. Oprah always talks about luck is opportunity meeting preparation, and literally she just fell into it. So props to her.
I wonder if she was tapped for the role or if she had to like legit like audition with
Audition.
dozens of
Well,
other
she
people.
no, she did not audition.
She didn't. Okay.
By Lee Daniels. Lee
Okay.
Daniels felt that she could do it.
Well,
And
he
she's
had the
like,
vision.
well,
Did it.
I don't think I can do it. She lost, I think she went from 163 pounds to 124.
Oh wow.
That's a lot of weight for that too.
I hope she didn't, the other movie that we talked about was Jesus and the Black Messiah, or Judas and the Black
Judas.
Messiah. Why did I say Jesus? Judas and the Black Messiah. Lakeith Stanfield, he sought therapy after doing the job, and she said that she went through some very unhealthy things. I hope she didn't actually do heroin, but she did a lot of. I hope she didn't take it that far for
Hope not.
the role. Like, I don't know. I'm not just, but she imbibed, because at a certain point that it's not acting. So I hope that there was some acting involved, but she just was amazing. I say all that to say she was amazing. Thigh slap.
So I'm watching the movie. Tracy cracked me up. So I'm watching the movie. There were some things and some themes that we did all pick up on. If we want to start getting into it, I know that for me, it reminded me a little bit of when Ma Rainey's, right? The exploitation of women for their talents, right? Like, this is another, again, a common theme that we keep seeing over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't even stop. Like, it doesn't end there. This is again 1937 to 1954, around there, whatever. Again, not that long ago, but still going on, like constantly being exploited, be it, men exploiting you body, like, right, like in a physical way, but also exploiting you where you're not getting paid your worth, right? You're not getting paid what you deserve. And it's, again, and you see it throughout the whole movie. I say this, I've said this before, where, in watching a lot of these movies, I find myself looking for more information, right? Because I was not a gazillion % familiar with Billie Holiday. I remember a little bit of, Diana Ross doing Lady Sings the Blues, right? So
Billy D.
So I don't remember.
That was the watered down version, apparently.
Very much so. And I thought that was a lot. I thought the Lady Sings the Blues was a lot, but this was something.
This was something else.
That was.
So it makes you want to look for information. And that's what it was, right? And so it makes me want to seek out and learn more about what it is that I'm watching, who it is that I'm learning about. And it's just her story, right? Like, her story it's sad, but also a lot of things I think that she could have, I think because she was targeted, and I think because it comes back to trauma and not dealing with the trauma in your life, right? It makes you go down these paths, right? You go down these paths that may not necessarily be the best paths for you. Also having people around you who kind of enable your behavior, right? As opposed to trying to help you. If people are not aware, Billie Holiday had a drug problem. She had a huge drug problem, hence the reason, the FBI felt they wanted to target, or that was their excuse for wanting to target her, because that was not the real reason they were targeting her. We all know the real reason they were targeting her is because they didn't want her singing the song. So if y'all want,
can we talk about that?
We can. Absolutely.
Can we talk about singing a song
and becoming a whole target,
and why it was, why was that kind of target warranted for singing a song? I know you have thoughts, Talia.
I just think it's a lot, and you realize the power of art, and you realize the level of influence that art can have on society. And I think the FBI and the government, they know that. And I think we've seen it even in our lifetime, where the narrative shifts very quickly in media. And when you start to get too many people rallying behind a specific song, behind a specific cause, they're deliberate actions. We may not see it, but they're deliberate actions that happen that seek to silence those voices. Even if we think about, like, hip hop.
Oh my gosh, what happened to Black conscious hip hop?
I don't know. But somewhere along the way, so rather than involving the FBI, right, we end up having these record executives who
Mhm.
won't shop talent that's talking about certain things, right? So
Maybe they were
they're
targeted. Maybe
right.
they were. You're saying the FBI wasn't involved. We
Well,
don't know
I don't. I
that,
mean, we'll
right?
find out when the documents are declassified in another.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
it's they realize that very early on, and so we see this change, right? And we could name artists, right? Even we talk about One Night in Miami and the targeting of Sam Cooke when he started to. Whenever you start to change,
Mhm.
or sing or do something that breaks away from conformity, because they wanted her to just stop singing the song.
Mhm.
And one might say, "Well, dang, Billy, why you just don't stop singing the song?" But that was her song. Like that song was her way of healing. And I think when we poo-poo arts and the artist, right? Many times that's the only thing that people have to try to cope with their trauma. So to take that away from her, right, and to take that voice and that outlet away from her, and I found it. Sharice done got me on something, but I found it ironic
That's a
that all the songs that they wanted to hear, and every aside from people sing strange fruit, Billy, right? The songs that they loved to hear her sing were those songs where she was being self-deprecating. Take
Mm.
my body. I don't need my arms. Just take all of me. Beat me. I'd rather you beat me than to leave me. What are we saying? But
Mm.
that's what y'all want her to sing.
domestic violence anthems. No, you know what? And to echo your point, you talk about bringing it into the future. What are the songs in hip hop that are so prevalent and prominent and and people want to hear those songs, right?
Mhm.
You want to, I think there is a business in exploiting Black pain and trauma in music. You want to
Absolutely.
hear people, oh, there's a group of people who love Snoop Dogg and the messages he promotes. There was nothing wrong with, in 92 when everything was bitches and hoes and
Mhm.
hoes, like there was nothing wrong with that. And that was some of the most popular selling music in the country. Mind you, Black people only make 10%
We
of
don't
the
make that kind of popular
13%
off of
off of
our
Black
money.
people.
Again, the
So
exploitation
we're
of
only
black
13% of the
talent.
population, right?
Exploitation of
So
talent. It still happens.
so the exploitation of Black pain and trauma and the things, and these are things that are part of our lives, right? These are things that are, but should they be exploited and enlarged to, it's a part of our life, it's not the Black
It's not
experience.
the whole
It's funny.
story.
It's funny that you say the expectation of the pain because it brings me back to um Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, and how he was intentional in the roles that he wanted to play, and
Mhm.
he spoke about that, and why do it? It doesn't always have to be a movie about slavery. Like it seems as though there is like this what's the word, like this emphasis or not like this
And Black pain and trauma.
right, like that's what people want to see, that's
Yeah.
what sells. People
Uh-huh.
want to know. But I
Mhm.
mean, why do you want to know? You know what happened. It's not like
It's trauma porn.
yeah,
It
It's
is.
it's
trauma porn.
It
we
is.
do have our share of but it needs to be handled in a three-dimensional um
Exactly.
sphere.
Yeah. All of it. Let's
It
talk
can't be
about
just
the whole experience.
the whole experience. And
I'm ready for it.
but they were loving those songs, right? When I was watching it, ain't nobody, it ain't nobody's business. I
Mhm.
wonder if that's where Michael got ain't nobody's business. Like if he got that from there.
Uh-huh. I'm sure he did.
I'm
And
sure he did.
but that whole idea of like, just cinematizing Black trauma. I recall a personal situation. I'm in this is teacher training, right? What was it? Alternate route. So we got to go
Mm.
through like certain classes to
If
get
you
the
didn't
teacher
right,
certification,
if
right?
you didn't
And so
study to be a teacher, you had to
yeah,
go
and
through.
so one of these the things we were talking about, like racial sensitivity or whatever, this was years ago. But we were watching this documentary, and like I counted before I walked out of the room, three times within the first 15 minutes of the documentary, where all we saw were images of like black men being hung. And I left. And I left the room and I waited outside in the hall until I heard that the documentary was over. And, and I guess maybe the professor thought I wasn't going to say anything, but he's like, yeah, some people, they can't handle this kind of content and this and that. And I said, I feel like you're addressing me, and I'm going to tell you right now. I've seen enough images of black people hanging from trees that I don't need to see it again. And I said, and furthermore, you need to consider how many times you see any other group of people being shown this way over and over and over again. If I've never seen a hanging, maybe I need to see it for the first time. But I'm about to be 40 years old. I don't need to see it anymore. So it's not about whether I can handle it or not. It's about the fact that you don't need to keep showing this. This is traumatic for me. So you need to be a little more sensitive. And then,
here it comes.
And now I'm the angry black woman. But that's okay.
Right.
But the thing is, what was the topic of that? What was that supposed to show?
Right.
Yeah, what was the intent of the
of showing that?
Because the intent is racial sensitivity. That's not what we need to see.
Name for me another group where over and over again on television, on film, we see them being raped, hung, beaten, burned, shot. I'll wait. Name another group.
I was about to say, I'll wait.
No, it's just
it doesn't happen till
it's almost maybe it's a you got to think about it, it's a normalization, a desensitization.
That's the word
I feel like that's more of it.
You got to think about these things. I don't want to see it.
And it was hard. And it was very hard for me yesterday to watch that.
We've seen it enough. We've seen it enough.
Absolutely.
That scene in the film. I don't know if y'all saw me dabbing my eyes, but it hurts me every time I see that.
So going back to Billie,
and I'm sorry not to cut you off, Sharice. I'm so sorry. Not only was it a hard scene to see, right? But it was only 1930 something. That wasn't that long ago. Like that always is in the back of my mind. Like this is, and the fact that again history, the fact that this is still.
I was going to say it's still happening.
Right. It's just, I don't know. It's just. It's upsetting. It's frustrating. I don't know.
But going back to the movie, one of the things is that an anti-lynching bill was introduced in 1937 that has yet to be yet.
That's what I'm saying.
They introduced another one last year.
It has yet to. Nothing has been passed. There's nothing that has been passed regarding.
And it passed the House.
Nope. Nothing has. Well, it doesn't matter if it passed the House because it has to be a law. But nothing has been passed in regard to anti-lynching. I think that speaks to the morality of the place that you live in. That no one would. You would think
who's fighting it? Like who's fighting it?
That would be an easy thing to pass. Like we all agree that lynching is a bad thing, right? Do we all agree, right?
Not
We're anti-lynching.
Apparently not.
I think there were 6 people who voted against it.
So do we not all agree that lynching is like we're not all anti-lynching?
No. We're not there yet.
So that's disturbing. I don't know. Isn't that disturbing or no? Am I not like
trying not to drop the F-bomb, but seriously.
Like you would think that all people would agree that we're anti-lynching.
No.
For sure.
We don't agree. Because there are some instances apparently where we should be doing it. We don't want to write it off because what if we need to do it one day?
Right. No. And so this is the trouble that Billie finds herself in. And then let's look at the other side of trauma. Let's look at it personally and emotionally, like what her experience growing up was like. And
my heart.
It's so interesting how trauma affects your ability to recognize healthy love, your ability to recognize what love is, your ability to give it and to receive it. And that was very, very difficult for her in over and over again. So that's a lesson that she never learned. Um,
When you have trauma and it's not dealt with,
she was dealing through, substance
right,
abuse.
a temporary fix, right?
Exactly. Where
or a numbing to the
a
pain,
num-
because I remember that scene vividly where she was on the stage and she was singing, and then they kept flashing back to her being in the bathroom using drugs, and it was just like you see this, this back and forth of her, because she even said to what's the guy's name? Oh my gosh, the
Freddie?
names are escaping me. Who?
Freddie?
Fletcher. Jimmy Fletcher.
Jimmy Fletcher?
She said to him that she can't sing Strange Fruit if she's not high. She said, I gotta be real high to sing that song. Because you have to be
Trauma.
that she has to numb herself to everything in order to just get through.
Great performers seem to like relive or pull from a place emotionally. If you've ever seen, like, what they call it, in the zone, you're in the zone, you're pulling from a place. So, actors, singers, the only person I've really seen in the zone, like I've seen Michael Jordan in the zone. Like athlete wise, like just in a zone, like God, like y'all need to just stay away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like you're pulling from a place of, like, you're reliving, you're reenacting, it's muscle memory. So, for her to perform that song so convincingly and people wanting to see that over and over again is probably something she's accessing to give that performance,
Yeah.
right? So as amazing as it is for everybody else to experience, like, sing the song, come on, baby, it's just a song. For her, it's like, no,
It's
like,
painful.
it really
It's
is something.
painful.
Yeah, I'm reliving and because there's an artist, there's an artsy part where you see her go out into that field and she witnesses the family
Yeah, that's
that
why
his
I
mother is,
cried.
and that's probably where she's like going back to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every
Yep.
time she sings that song, because it
And
was like,
even-
then she goes in the house and it's very
Yeah, I was
artsy.
gonna say even the scene right after that when she's going through the house and stuff and just like lost, right? She
It's
does
a hot mess
Yep.
going.
of emotions and feelings and
Yep.
It's a lot. It's very heavy. It's a lot.
Yeah, she said, I'm looking at my quote. She said, I don't like the quiet. It's so noisy, She's got a lot of pain,
I
and that
understand.
pain shows up.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about some of the people we love to see perform,
Mhm.
and what kind of motivation, like, an Aretha Franklin, when we listen to the emotion and, like, just people who really bring it home. It's personal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think about this is our age reference, but
Oh my God, I know who you're gonna say. Go.
Mary's My Life.
I knew you was gonna say Mary.
Hey,
You know why I thought about Mary? I swear to God. Listen, I hate to swear to God, but listen, I knew you were gonna say Mary.
I do too.
What I thought about with Mary was when we were wanting her to sing these damn songs, but it was also when she was dating Casey and she was going through that in that relationship with
The
him.
drugs.
Yep.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, and Mary was still belting out those hits and belting out those songs. And I remember when we went to see her in the show, and she was just singing, and it's like, damn, like it's crazy to say, but I like some of her best performances or some of her best songs were from a time that she was experiencing so much pain and drama and all this stuff in her life. And that's how I knew when you say going back to our time. But even when Sharice was talking about it, I was like, I think about Mary.
That's where I was leading y'all. I just want y'all to know that's where I was leading y'all. And you hit the nail on the head. So I appreciate that. But I remember that concert you're talking about. And what was so funny about that concert is that the audience basically drowned her out. And I've never heard from start to finish.
Yeah.
I've never been to, and I've been to a lot of concerts. I've never heard
You didn't even have to sing.
Where an audience drowned out the performer. And it was like in unison. No, I'm not gonna cry. Everybody, I was like, this is a spiritual.
Y'all, I'm side-eyeing over here because I have brought up this concert to these women on multiple occasions. And as recent as 2 months ago, nobody remembered that we were there. And now, all of a sudden,
this is not true.
That's
because
not
now, all of a sudden, I said we were singing.
Nope.
She was singing
Every day it rains, and we took out our umbrellas because it happened rain.
I never not said I didn't go to
Okay,
America.
we'll table it, but just know that this is why I'm over here having trouble. Danny's laughing because she remembers the conversation.
Am
She's
I
laughing.
In my representation of
You
what
are.
happened?
That's exactly what happened
I
because
said
you
I
were
didn't
there.
remember being there.
Danny knows.
Roll the tape because I don't believe that.
Danny knows.
You can't be side-eyeing that much. We are like women of a certain age.
I'm not.
So you
I
can't.
remember it.
We're not going back
y'all
there.
don't stop. If y'all don't embrace, like, ooh,
Why
that's
are
a conversation we're gonna have.
moving this along? No, we're not.
But seriously, y'all, like this. I think Billy, and I feel like this is something that we all kind of go through. Like, I think this whole failure of people that we interact every day with, and Sharice, I know you're gonna bring up your quote, but to just take a beat and realize the everyday trauma and how difficult it is for Black people to navigate through these hostile spaces on a day to day basis. Just that alone, the toll that that takes on somebody. But thinking about all the things that Billie Holiday went through and that childhood trauma added onto it that you don't know about. And I've seen the quote, on any given day, you don't know what somebody else is going through.
Mhm.
And lead with, Melly said, why can't Black women be afforded grace, right? Lead with kindness, lead with compassion, all right? And if you start there, maybe, right? But every day having to be a Black person here in this space, like that alone is enough for you to just leave me alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm not here and I'm not with it with you, like leave me alone.
Mhm.
But what's the quote, Sharice? I know you want to.
Wait, what quote? Which one?
No, the quote.
From my favorite quote from the film.
Yes. Yes.
You put me on the spot. I just want. I just should I say that my favorite quote from the film. I mean, I can relate to a quote as someone who has been in interracial relationships.
This is a safe space.
Is it a safe space on YouTube?
It's a safe
All of that. I
space
was
for
just
us,
talking
at
about the quote. Ain't nobody say nothing about you.
I do have to say it. Why is it my favorite quote? It's just, but it's natural. It's a thing where, you may not understand someone's experience unless it's lived. It's just sometimes it's a lived experience. And my favorite quote comes at about 1 minute and 2 seconds. 1 hour and 2 seconds into the film. She's walking with Tallulah Bankhead and she was like, "You'll never understand my life, white woman or white girl. You'll never understand my life." And it's certain things that just can't be articulated or explained unless you've been in my shoes. And that was just a real moment and I loved it. And I did my thigh slapping when I saw that. I raised my hands. I was like, that's real. Doesn't mean we can't be together. It just means that certain aspects you'll never know the depths.
Yeah, but trust me when I tell you that I'm feeling a way, or don't dismiss when I'm telling you that this is what's up. Like I know what's up. I've been here. This is the skin that I live in, and when I tell you, I smell it. And just understand that there's some stuff that you don't get. And Sharice, I think you and I were talking at some point, even off topic, but how some things we don't even have a vocabulary yet to express.
Yes. So much of life and going through life as a woman of a certain age, and this can only come with experience. I'm saying this because it can only come from experience, but like not having the verbiage to explain to explain what you're feeling, to explain why you feel this way, to just, I would say, a lived and experienced life comes with being able to identify things, and that goes back. It's sometimes you don't even know what you're feeling, and this is why mental health is so important. If, let's say, Billie Holiday had a mental health counselor, that's what she needed. She had the heroin guy, the drug dealer, or whatever. You need a mental health counselor. We need to sort through some of these feelings, and we will always negate, as a Black community, the help of somebody. That's because a lot of times those people didn't look like us. Yep. And I was talking to Talia about the other day being paired with a Black clinician, and how different that was. And like, it was something that I did not even know that I needed, or would feel a little bit differently getting help or resources from a person who looks like me.
Mm-hmm. And again, I know I've mentioned this before, it has nothing to do, it's just a preference, right? It's a preference.
It wasn't even a preference of mine. It was,
I mean, in general, like when we talk about wanting people that look like us or who could relate to us, I think that it comes down to, you just being comfortable enough with that person because that person has shared experiences as you. Yeah. And I think that's key.
I didn't even know how important that was. And sometimes we don't understand how, like you were saying, not even having the vocabulary to understand, or you not even knowing what you need to heal.
I mean, even if you take it out of just the race, even when you talk about women and gynecologists, there's nothing wrong with a male gynecologist, but he does not understand.
He don't have a vagina.
What you're going through.
Yeah. No,
like he can't relate to it.
Right.
So he may know not that he's not behind it.
Technically, it's not that he's not technically trained,
or he's qualified, right? It's not saying he's not qualified to do the job, right? Because
it's just sometimes nice to have somebody who understands the experience,
right? Exactly. The unsaid experience.
Yeah, and to Bellie's point, it's about preference, because I know, like, especially like older generation, like my mom, she's not comfortable with a female gynecologist because she feels uncomfortable with having a woman dealing with her parts or whatever, and she feels more comfortable with a man. So I don't think by saying these things we're saying we'll ostracize or not dealing with clinicians and physicians who are not to the T. With, I think, to Melly's point, it's a preference. And we need to make sure that we have a wide array of services and clinicians and physicians available so that people can make the choices that are best for them.
Just having options.
Yep, having options is important.
Like, having options is good. Another thing that I think
for everyone
wanted to get into or want to discuss, right? I, again, after researching and finding out more information about Billie Holiday, in the film, crime versus punishment, right? Does the punishment fit the crime? I did read that I think when she was about 14 years old, she was also arrested because she was working at the brothel that I think her mom had made her start working at.
She was a minor.
And she was a minor. She was thrown in jail. So again,
that was rape. That's not a jail.
That's exactly
what happens today.
And it still happens today.
It still happens today. Like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And I think, we talk
about. She wasn't even committing a crime. They were committing the crime.
Exactly.
A crime is being committed against her.
Against her.
That's
Shoot
the
with
real
jail.
criminal.
A crime is being committed against her. She's not being supplied the resources that she needs to overcome the trauma that she's already experiencing by having her body exploited, right? Because we talked about her financial exploitation, right? Where she wasn't getting paid what she needed to get paid. But now there's a different type of exploitation. It's being her body being exploited, right? At an age where she knows, right? She's a child. She's still a child. And again, instead of no resources to help her, no one to help her, she's thrown in jail. And we see this now. When they, when with the whole, even with the weed thing, right? Oh, you have a little bit of marijuana on you, fine, you're going to jail. Like, I know now that, some of the laws are starting to change when it comes to that, but it's the same thing. We talk about this, the war on crime, the war on drugs, right? Trigger, like the war on drugs. Is it really a war on drugs?
Can I tell you about like moving to California? And when I go to California, and I was like, I gotta check out, what's going on at the weed dispensary, right? I'm here, I don't know anything about this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go to the weed dispensary. The weed dispensary is like an Apple store. Okay. It's set up it's like an Apple store. When you go to an Apple store, everything is on display. They tell you the features, the benefits, what you get from this strain versus that strain, or you have the option of this equipment or this technology, all of these things. And meanwhile, there are millions of Black women and men in jail for marijuana sales and crime. So it's really is really a viewpoint. It's a viewpoint, and it's a happenstance. It's not by happenstance, but what's conveyed as criminal and what is now an amazing new technology and front for economic, so we really have to look at these things with a fine-tooth comb. We're criminalizing certain groups of people.
That's what I was going to say.
Empowering other groups.
It's a war on drugs, but it's not really a war on drugs. It's a war on people, right? Because now you're capitalizing. Go ahead, do it. You're capitalizing off of something that you were criminalizing not that long ago, right? Yeah. Now you're capitalizing off of that. It's again, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And where she was in court and she thought that she was just going to go to the hospital and get help, that wasn't the case for her.
But the same,
they thought that right.
But the same way that slavery was becoming too expensive. So now we need to find something else to do, right? Prison industrial complex is becoming too expensive. So now we need to find something else to do. So there'll be a new and exciting new ways for them to exploit us coming soon. Coming soon. Coming soon.
It's just it's sad. She even talked about I think in that interview with Leslie. I was like, oh, he's in this movie. I know Leslie Jordan.
Yeah, his videos are hilarious.
How things change because she's like, we're sitting up here drinking. A few years ago, there was prohibition. We couldn't do any of this, So things change to whose benefit.
Yeah, and Ainsley was one of those. What's his name? Ainslinger was one of the agents with prohibition.
And what is criminal behavior? Just because something is against the law doesn't it make it criminal or doesn't make it immoral. And we need to you need to be very conscious of how the law works for one group of people and how it works against another. Law and laws, there's no morality in laws.
Exactly.
The laws are not there for morality purposes. They're there to keep order.
I was going to say they're for order, and it's for
order
that the people who created wanted.
So to order whom?
Exactly.
Because what I think these movies, and for those of you who are watching and listening, I hope you're seeing a pattern in these
Mhm.
movies and the same patterns that we're seeing. Because what I see is that over time, there's been very little change, and they pacify us with these symbolic gestures, right?
Mm.
I don't need a stamp. I could care less about whether you demolish a monument. Okay, that's not important to me. Let's make some changes to legislation and laws and the ways in which people are treated. I love Harriet Tubman, but her being on a $20 bill does not make me more free. So do something else. Do something that's real. But they do this, right? They do little things and they're like, oh, look, Black people, Juneteenth's gonna be a holiday. Okay, you'll have some sales and we'll be shopping soon enough. You'll figure out a way to capitalize on it. And that's not what we need from you. So, pay attention.
Everything we didn't ask for.
Right.
But I will, when Tubmans come out, I will have a pocket full of Tubmans. Will, like,
I
regardless
don't
of,
carry cash, so
I
if you catch me with
I will
$5,
carry cash. I will
Cash on
ensure that I will carry.
Purposefully, you're carrying.
It doesn't negate anything else. It doesn't negate. I just will be at the bank. They will know who I am as I take my Tubmans. Give me
and ask
multiple.
specifically for Tubmans when you
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Give me the Tubmans. I want the Tubmans. I need them.
I want y'all to stop locking up Black people. So yeah.
I do too. But give me the Tubman. If they're
You want
gonna be
both.
out there, give
They're
me
gonna be out there. You want
Same time.
Same-
Same time, man.
same time, man. Give me my
Mhm.
freedom and give me my
Mhm.
Tubmans.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's you know, it things that are ingrained. You gotta look at, what they're putting into the laws,
Mm-hmm.
what we're not changing,
Yep.
what we are changing, what we have the inability to do, and like what are these little things, like a Senate supermajority. Like, why do you need a
Right.
supermajority? Why can't people vote? Are we all represented? What
Mhm.
is this electoral college?
Mhm.
Why, when most of the country wants a $15 minimum wage, is that so impossible to do? What's going on?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
And so,
And
but so look for the trick. So when they do give us something, look for the trickery in it because it's there. And understand what the trickery is and how we need to navigate to get around it. Because voting rights bill, great. Y'all ain't tell us nothing about this electoral college stuff and how all the former Confederate states seem to have all the electoral votes. So,
or how it can be dismantled,
No,
right?
it's funny.
It's been picked apart and dismantled. And so, like, and you think about how they're continuing to chip away. There's these little bills and little things that they do, and they chip away at the progress that we think that we've made, but it's being still gnawed at.
And then here's
Like,
the thing.
someone's still thinking about this stuff. It's not like we passed this, we're good, let's move on to the next thing. No, somebody's like,
It's always trickery, and I'm glad that you used the word trickery, right? And it's always you think you're getting something, but what are you sacrificing to get what you want? And we saw this in Judas and the Black Messiah when Williams, oh my god, I forget Lakeith Stanfield's character. O'Neal, thank you. And we see it with Fletcher in this movie, right? What are they sacrificing, or what part of themselves are they sacrificing to get to, where they're trying to be, right? Like, Fletcher.
They were both affected. Yes.
They were both affected because you can even see it in the performance when Fletcher, he kind of starts to get to know her, right? And he realizes that she comes from a place where there was a lot of trauma that wasn't dealt with, right? And he sees her now. I'm not just some agent following the target. Now I'm seeing you as a person and the struggles that you've gone through. And I think in order for him to empathize with her, he needed to see her as someone who had been going through some pain.
But the thing also is like the amount of effort they put into, like, the trouble I have with Fletcher is you can't possibly believe they put this much effort into taking her down just
To
because she
stop
was
her from
using
singing the
drugs. How many people are
or the
using
drugs,
drugs
right?
that they don't have to
Yeah,
put this effort into? So it was never about taking her down because of the drugs.
Mhm.
That was what they came up with to get her to stop performing. You know, it had nothing. They don't care if she's an addict.
They don't.
No.
But funny what can happen when you start to acknowledge somebody's humanity.
Mm.
And funny what empathy you can practice when you start to acknowledge somebody's humanity. But these, what we need to, and again, another thing that these films are showing us is how, when we talk, go back to exploitation, right? We are, one, we're being exploited, but two, we're being used to be the gatekeepers in our own exploitation and oppression, right? Because in all of these films, right, it's the system that wants to take them down, but the taking down can't
It's being
happen
done by our
without the
own.
complicit work that's being done by us to create our own demise. Stop,
Absolutely.
stop
Say
working
that.
with these people. We would
But
not. We did it, and I'm not talking about just then. I'm talking about how we got on the boat in the first place. Okay, can we just deal with that? Like we are consistently
Selling
complicit.
ourselves out.
What?
You laugh when you hear people say it be your own kids. It be your own people. It be your own people.
It really be your own people.
Yeah.
Like what was the end? Like what was the even at that end scene, that last scene where she had the handcuffs
Handcuffs on her
on
feet.
her foot.
Right. Like
Look,
she was dying. Like you
Under
really needed
arrest.
to arrest her then.
They really was trying to.
What
they really
ends?
was trying to plant drugs in her
Justice.
hospital bedroom.
They did plant drugs in there.
And
that's-
what was the point? To sully her reputation? You know what I mean? Like to sully her reputation, like, you know, truth, regardless of who says it, is still gonna be the truth.
She says your grandkids gonna be singing that song. Ain't it the truth? Didn't Jennifer Lewis, Jennifer, what's her name? The little Katniss Everdeen. Didn't she make it? Didn't she
Well,
sing
I mean,
Strange Fruit?
Kanye on Yeezus has Blood on the Leaves, and it's like a sample, and it's just Billie Holiday over and over again, and it's
Yeah,
dope.
but I
It,
heard
that
Strange
was
Fruit on
2011.
like Z100. What's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer
Yes,
Lawrence
Jennifer.
sang.
Wait, Jennifer Lawrence, the actress?
Yes.
No,
What did she say?
She sang a version of Strange Fruit.
Jennifer Lawrence, the actress?
Yes! It was on Z100 one day. Don't
What?
make
So
me
she
look
got
it up.
you got her
Tell
googling.
me all the
Katniss
circumstances.
You know, that's what I'm
Everdeen.
doing right now.
Katniss, somebody
Yes.
sang it. Katniss.
I was like,
Everdeen.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Oh, the hanging tree. She sang the hanging tree.
Like
Jennifer Lawrence
Jennifer
sang the
Lawrence?
hanging tree. I thought it was Strange Fruit. I
was
heard
like, what's
something about
her
black
connection?
people hanging.
What's her connection? But definitely Kanye on Yeezus has a song called Blood on the Leaves, and it's a dope song. But yeah, your kids are gonna be singing this song. The truth, the truth is gonna be the truth. It doesn't matter what you do to it.
Right. The truth is always going to be the truth.
It's gonna be the truth, and like it doesn't matter. You can gaslight,
What's
these manipulative tactics and this gaslighting stuff, and telling you, huh?
It's the saying. There's three sides to every story: my version, your version, and the truth. The truth is always going to be the truth.
Main. That's it.
And on
United
that,
States of
like I said,
contradictions.
we can, again, another great film, another movie that we are definitely recommending. I know that I learned a lot. I'm enjoying this because I am learning a lot more than what I knew before. So that's always a plus. I highly recommend that everyone takes the time to watch this.
Great performance.
Great performance.
Man.
Shout out to these streaming services for bringing these stories to us.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if it were not for the pandemic and us being forced to like find different ways to receive
hunker
content,
down and watch
I
things.
don't think these films would have made it. So shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, like it's good.
Trying to see the what is it? Trying to see the silver lining in what has been probably one of the,
toughest years.
Mm-hmm. Tough year, but finding that silver lining that connecting on different platforms, connecting with people, connecting, bringing a lot of things to the forefront. Again, these movies that we've been watching do have a common thread, and being able to recognize those things and learn from them.
Absolutely. And shout out to the legendary women, Black women that are like just doing it regardless. And the list could go on. We talked about Harriet Tubman, we talked about Billie Holiday. The music, a lot of people dismiss artistry, but for Black people, our artistry is everything, because we've been so capped off to do things in other arenas. We do things in other arenas, but our recognition is very limited. That's why we have Black History Month. That's why we shout out all of our great minds and thinkers and intellect. But art and culture is something that we should never be ashamed of, or never it means everything to us. It's not just songs and things like that. It's not just music that you hear on the radio to fill up your day. They mean something to us. So that's why we're about to go into Ver-SIS. Because it means, I'm keeping it real. Like Black music means everything to us.
Yeah, but that's that whole idea of the things we can't verbalize. It has to come out somehow, and that's where the art comes in. That's where the artistry helps us to cope.
And on that note,
and we can't stop and won't stop.
So I had the lovely task of picking the Ver-SIS for this week. I do have a couple of things on my list.
Yes, bring it out.
I will say it's all women artists, because we're celebrating
Women's History Month.
Do we want to explain what Ver-SIS is?
Oh, we always do, yes.
Ver-SIS
is our version of the verses that you've been seeing online with where they put two different artists together, and they're picking music from each artist. What we like to do, and they spell it differently. We like to spell our Ver-SIS, S-I-S, Ver-SIS.
We are sisters.
Yes.
What we like to do is pick it's the same artist and their songs, which makes it a lot harder.
You should feel uncomfortable.
I'm always uncomfortable.
This is when I start sweating.
I'm uncomfortable even when it's my turn to pick the song.
You're not playing right. You're not playing right if you don't feel uncomfortable.
Because let me be honest with you guys, all the women that I have 4 different women, mind you, and the women that I have on here, I can't even pick. I have yet to decide what song.
Oh,
I'm like, ugh, I hate this game, but here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here's my side eye. Here we go.
You're always with your side eye.
What is it going to be? 4 songs on the for each person, each category?
So my first person that I'm starting with is Sade.
Oh!
Stronger Than Pride.
Ooh, Stronger Than Pride.
Okay, we're gonna see. I'm gonna go with Kiss of Life versus Sweetest Taboo.
Kiss of
Sweetest
Life.
Taboo.
Kiss of Life. You wrap me up in the color of light. It's such
I tell you.
Hey, it's Christmas.
I'll tell you now. Yeah.
It's such a. It gives me a It's
such a quiet storm.
That's dope. That's a groove. But Kiss of Life elevates me.
I can
it's
hear
like
that.
it feels like
the saxophone. That's probably the dying days of the saxophone solo.
Don't talk to me about solos on 80s solo. Don't talk to me about that solo.
That was probably one of the last.
Wait. Danny, what you got? Because I don't have an answer yet.
Whoever brings
Oh,
the
I said
solo
Sweetest
back
Taboo
in
already.
2021.
Already, and then
Yes, I said it.
you said
Sweetest
Sweetest
Pebble.
Taboo.
Can I tell you that
Hey, what-
they only played that video on VH1? It wasn't an MTV video, and it will only
there
come
was
on
very few
VH1.
videos on Black people on MTV that could
So
be played.
VH1 used to play that video, and I don't know why. I liked it. It made me feel like I was on vacation when I watched it with like the clay homes.
lit.
I don't know. That was my favorite growing up.
Oh,
Sweetest
Sharice
Pebble.
Kiss the Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move on.
This is a good one. This is a good
Moving
one.
on
Holly.
until you select.
You did not pick. She was trying to get one over on us.
Trying to go real fast. You know when kids start talking fast, you're like, wait a minute, slow down. What you just say?
Listen, this has been a struggle all day. I really so if Sharice is gonna go with this stupid ass, put a gun to your head, put a gun to your head, put a gun to your head, put a gun to your head.
Come on.
I am gonna go with Kiss of Life, although I did start off with wanting it to be Sweetest Taboo, but I think I'm gonna go with Kiss of Life. I don't know.
There's something that elevates my
You still
spirit.
sound unsure.
I'm still unsure. I know you can hear it in my voice. I'm still unsure.
I'm gonna go listen to Kiss of Life right now. Like
It's
I'm going to
so
listen to it right now because it's just like it's just a song. It's warm.
It's
and
smooth,
it's
yeah.
airy, and it just brings me like this
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like this. It's like,
We can stay in Sade. I have other people.
go ahead, do another person. We can
Do
come.
another shot. No, I can save the other Sade
You
first.
can come back. We can come back.
Then I stayed in like the same family of type music, whatever. And then I went over to Adele.
Okay.
And then I did Someone Like You.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Or Could Have Had It All.
Could have had it all.
Y'all gonna wish you never had met me.
Someone like you.
I'm going with Could Have Had It All.
I go with Could Have Had It All for the breakdown.
I'm gonna go with Could Have Had It All as well.
Someone Like You.
Oh, you being a rebel.
I like when Danny's a rebel.
2000s, congratulations.
I like when Danny's a rebel.
Congratulations.
That's the modern version of congratulations. Best of luck.
Oh, Someone Like You. Oh, you. Oh, I meant.
Oh.
Isn't it the same? It's the same.
Have we talked about congratulations on this?
Let me tell you.
Have we?
Settle down.
When we talk about congratulations, you know what I'm gonna say.
Have we talked about
Oh, video with
congratulations?
her pocketbook on her shoulder.
Guys, if
Someone
y'all
Like
don't know
You was
this
just
song,
congratulations.
you might be whoever's watching might be too young to know what this song is.
We were probably too young to
Google it.
We know exactly what the song is and what it's about. It's Vesta Williams.
Yeah.
She maybe had like two
songs.
hits. This was her biggest hit.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And it's the most. It's if Tyler Perry made music, it would be. Would y'all not? Do y'all get that?
I get it.
You understand?
I understand.
This would be if Tyler Perry made music, Vesta Williams would be his artist and he would produce this song. Like she literally tells you everything. Saw a friend down the street.
Starts right there.
Yeah, she paints the whole
The whole thing. Run with her to the church.
Something.
Heart
And then it picks up. Congratulations.
Everybody, I want you to go and listen to Vesta Williams.
Please.
Congratulations.
back.
And then I want you to listen again to Someone Like You. And
I
you
can
tell me
see
if
it.
that's not just a contemporary version.
I can totally see it, Talia.
You have to know your history. You have to know your history.
Whew. I have another one. Do we have time?
If Tyler Perry made a song.
Just gonna do it.
Just
I'm gonna save this one, but I'm gonna go with this one instead. I'm gonna go with Mariah, and only because I just heard her singing this the other day, and
Mariah.
I wanted to pick
somebody.
So
dirt dog, no liar.
That's not the song.
Hot like fire.
I didn't pick that, and I did not pick my other jam. I did pick for Mariah. I picked "We Belong Together."
Ooh, come on now! What are you doing? That's probably one of her best songs ever. That's a heavy hitter. Like that's probably
what you put against that.
I put something that probably y'all not gonna like against it, but this is one of my favorites.
Put "Always Be My Baby."
No, I would never put "Always Be My Baby" with anything. "Always Be My Baby" is "Always Be My Baby." "Always Be My Baby" will always be my baby.
I think a great competition would be "Always Be My Baby" and "We Belong."
I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not doing that to me.
But that is the spirit of Ver-SIS.
What's the other song?
Put it with "Breakdown." Do you remember "Breakdown"? Breakdown was
like Melissa. There's no competition. You just make a competition in your head.
Instead of breaking me on down.
I want to pick. Listen, we belong to. I mean,
how would you pick?
We belong together. I have to. I do like Breakdown.
Yeah, but how would you pick it over "We Belong Together"? How would you consciously pick? Like even if you like Breakdown,
why? Right? I'll tell you why. We talked about this when we first started doing Ver-SIS. And I don't like to feel uncomfortable when I'm doing the verses. So it's no way.
Which is really the opposite.
No way.
It's like saying
belong together against "Always Be My Baby." I'm not gonna do it.
It's like saying I like working out.
I went to a song that
I don't like to sweat. But I love working out. Like
that I personally liked for Mariah, and I loved "Breakdown." I actually enjoyed that album, period. I felt like that was an album where she was coming into herself, right?
Was that the Emancipation of Mimi?
It was her Butterfly. Wasn't it the Butterfly album?
I like the Emancipation of Mimi.
Better than "We Belong Together." It's just not. Even though you like it, I get it. You like it.
And I heard her singing the other day, "We Belong Together," and that's why I wanted to pick it. And I was like, this close, fine. I'll put it against "Always Be My Baby." Go ahead, pick it. Go pick now.
Isn't that a harder choice? Is that not a harder decision?
Now I have to think.
Go do it.
Well, what was what were your?
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do "We Belong Together" and "Always Be My Baby." And
Always Be My Baby. Yeah, that's easy. That's not hard.
For some people, it would be hard, but not for me.
Hard for me.
Who gonna pick?
Oh, see, it's a more difficult.
I really like both of those a lot.
What you picking, Sharice?
We belong together.
Sharice, pick.
To see.
For me, that is hard, but I'm gonna go with "Belong Together." I think Talia said "Always Be My Baby." I'm gonna go with
"Always Be My Baby."
Always be my baby, and we'll linger on. Hey, I'm gonna go with "Always Be My Baby."
Really?
All right. What about you, Melly?
I said "Always Be My Baby." I said "Always Be My Baby."
So I am out there by myself again. It's okay.
You're out there by yourself again.
Being a lone wolf.
Being a rebel out there by yourself.
It's confidence.
That's why I didn't even want to pick. That's why I didn't even want to put it there. I hate,
But it's so Melly.
I know it's supposed to make people uncomfortable. I know that's
that is the point.
I don't like
it. In the other category, I would pick "We Belong Together." The one that Breakdown versus.
Yeah. I love Breakdown.
All right, give us another one. Give us one more to take it home. One more to just take it home. One more, and that's it.
Y'all want to go back to Sade, or y'all want to go somewhere else?
Whatever you want. You do it.
Do it quickly.
We'll go back to Sade. "Cherish the Day" or "No Ordinary Love"?
No ordinary love.
No ordinary love.
This is no. I have to go over it in my no ordinary. No Ordinary love. Right? It's like boom, 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 boom. It's so dramatic. Oh, no ordinary love.
Yeah.
All right,
That's my
Melly,
pick.
what about you?
No ordinary
Melly, you
love.
never want to pick.
Woo, so dramatic.
No ordinary love for me.
Animus.
Unanimous.
Very unanimous today on that one.
Cherish the day.
All right, y'all. Listen, Sharice's still singing. Listen, we're about to wrap up. We're wrapping up for the
Wrapping
day.
it up.
I just want to take a moment and thank everybody for tuning in, both on YouTube and on the different podcasting platforms. We drop new episodes every Wednesday. Check us out. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor. We have some fun and exciting announcements to make. We're going to have merch coming soon. Ooh, that's going to be great. And do me a favor. Take a second, okay, and like and subscribe and follow and do all of those good things, because we want to be able to keep bringing you this content. And so we need to show everybody that this content is the bomb and that it matters and that you're enjoying it. So make sure you do all those things because it's important, okay? Important business. Get to it, all right? But other than that, ladies, we are wrapping up. Let me say
fun.
this.
Shout out
Yes,
to
ma'am.
Andra Day.
I know she did such a great job. Y'all check
Amazing.
out that film, United States versus Billie Holiday. You have to see it. Watch it. And hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Comment with us. We wanna interact